Charge.
How's it going, everybody? Podcast number 4. I'm here with Andrew. Matt Granelli decided to stick around for another time. And then on our guest on the bottom, we got Kevin Murphy, my former roommate. Today we're going to talk about Astros baseball, and there's a lot to be said about that team, recent suspension. A.J. Hinch and Jeff Lundhall, the GM, were suspended a year and were promptly fired afterwards. They lost their first and second round draft picks in 2020 and 2021 and were fined $5 million. And the most interesting part was all the players were granted immunity. So I just wanted to pass it along to Andrew and hear his thoughts first.
Players should have been suspended. $5 million is not going to pay for a World Series trophy. For some teams it does, and some teams it doesn't. But a $5 million suspension fee or whatever fine isn't enough for me, and I think it isn't enough for baseball. A.J. Hinch got fired. And they're counting the 2020 season with the coronavirus as the year that he's suspended. I don't know who's going to sign him next as a in the workings of the front office or coaching staff, but he shouldn't be signed. He should be done with baseball. My opinion, if Pete Rose got caught for gambling on him, he only bet on himself, why is A.J. Hinch not suspended from baseball when he led one of the biggest cheating scandals in baseball history? And then Altuve, Bellinger even said it himself that Altuve stole the MVP from Judge that year. Any thoughts on that?
I'd 100% agree. That was – like, if you go back, the only category Altuve really beat Judge out in is average. And if you look at the home and away stats, I mean, come on. Like, it's tough. Like, granted, you got to hit the ball right, but it's a different animal when you know what pitch is coming. I mean, That's part of a pitcher's repertoire. Half the pitchers in the league, they got like 2 or 3 pitches that are their go-to pitches. And if you can start singling out those pitches, like, that's why tipping is so prevalent. The moment a guy starts tipping his pitches, it's game over. He just gets shelled the rest of the night.
I just want to make a quick point, fans. Look at the jerseys these guys are wearing, but that's not my business.
Is there a problem here? Because we're talking for baseball.
They have a right.
We haven't mentioned.
We are talking for baseball, Nick.
This is baseball, all right, guy.
Nick, Nick? Okay, if we were Dodger fans, 2 years in a row, we got screwed out of a World Series title, and then losing to the Red Sox, who also cheated, right? Come on, man. That's 3 years in a row. I mean, you got to finish the job anyway. But again, man, like that. Who knows if the Astros would have even made it to that point? They're a great baseball club. Granted, they have a great talent. That's coming from a Yankee fan. They have great talent, great pitching, great freaking bullpen. But I mean, like, they don't need to do that if you already have the talent. I mean, they could have made it that far anyway. But who knows what would have happened, stats, MVPs, all-star appearances, if they don't know what pitch is coming.
Absolutely. I think that's the overall the most frustrating thing about this whole situation is that they had the talent. They were a top team in baseball. Like, if you look up and down the roster, they had guys who could hit the ball well. They had pitchers for days. They had a pretty decent pen. So they had a team that could have gotten the job done without all the cheating. So it's really frustrating to see that stuff.
See, Nick?
I mean, I still think they're a good team this year regardless. They're going to win the West. I don't think
they don't really have much competition. Maybe
the A's didn't go
maybe the A's, but
who knows? The A's swept them a few times. Swept them in 2 big series, whatever I want to say, last year. But if you want to fast forward to 2019, we got guys. 2020, you got guys commenting on it. Like, my favorite comment is what Bellinger said. Bellinger said, "I do not know what human hits a walk-off home run against Aroldis Chapman." This is Nick. This is directed to you. Aroldis Chapman to send your team to the World Series, and one has the first thought to go before don't rip off my jersey. I need to go into the clubhouse and change. Nick, if I hit a walk-off home run to win me to send me to the World Series, you could rip off whatever you want on me. Like I just and then like it was a 2-1 count against a guy that throws 102, and his fastball he throws it like 75% of the time. It's a 2-1 count, wasn't throwing strikes. Why on earth would he throw a slider, and why on earth would Altuve sit slider? He was ready for the slider. But then again, who knows? You guys in the comments could be like, oh, biased Yankee fan, you know. But again, Nick, what's your thought?
No, there's some crazy proof out there. You know, I'll let you go, Nick. But
Yeah, he had the buzzer, but he claims it was a recently finished tattoo.
Wait, here's the thing, right?
It was a surprise for his wife.
Like the first excuse was his wife didn't want him having his jersey ripped off. She's like, I don't like that. Don't do that, right? That was the first excuse, right? And then all of a sudden they start changing it up, saying like, oh, he had an ugly tattoo right here. It was like an unfinished tattoo. He didn't want anybody to see. It's like, really? That's your first concern? You just hit a walk-off home run, and your first concern is, oh, I don't want people seeing my embarrassing tattoo. Like, come on, guy. Like, you're going to the World Series. And it's not like it's his first time having his shirt ripped off. He's had it ripped off like countless times. You can Google it, and he's got like over a dozen instances where his shirt's just completely ripped off, and he's sitting there like. But
here's what the funniest thing is. He said that he got a tattoo in San Francisco. Okay, and that series was at the end of August. Okay. That was in October, the walk-off home run. So you're telling me, no, the second session of the tattoo was in August, and the first one was when they were over there in like June, I think, June, July. It isn't finished yet or healed properly in October because they also said that like they don't want to show the unfinished. It was like a surprise for his wife. So you're telling me that no one in his family or like his wife saw him without his shirt on and was like, oh, there's the tattoo for me. Like,
yeah, that's 100% true. Like,
yeah,
tough to defend that.
Quick, hold on 1 second. Because you have to pay for this service that we're recording this on in 9 minutes, we have to end it and we'll start up a new call just because we were in this before talking about the topic. But
yeah, I was gonna say, as someone who has tattoos, like how long does it to take to heal?
I've had a lot of work done. It takes maybe 3-4 days to fully heal. I mean. And he said it was just her name tattooed. Like, I have, like, where is it? Keep Smiling right here, sponsor. That small writing took maybe a day and a half to heal. And
I love it. I love the instance, like, where they, like, after the whole situation come out, and you see him walk purposely by reporters with his shirt off so they could see the tattoo, and he's, like, showing off the tattoo, like, see, I had a tattoo. This is done. It's like, dude, come on. Like, what are you doing here?
I want to hear from Nick and Matt on this. They're keeping their mouth shut over there. Let's hear it.
I mean, I'm not here to talk forensics, you know, with the whole tattoo scandal. But I mean, if not the tattoo, there's lots of other conclusive evidence that, you know, they were in fact cheating. And what bothers me more is, and we kind of touched on this earlier, is that there's no punishment for the manager. I mean, you look, I saw something on Twitter, like, you look at what Manchester City did. I don't know what their situation is. I'm not a big soccer guy, like, to be honest. But they got caught cheating somehow, and their punishment was incrementally worse than what the Astros are going through right now.
I mean, if you're gonna punish a team, like, I'm not saying, like,
yeah.
I mean, you could take away the title, but they're like, again, like, some people don't want to see that. Again, like, you can't just give it to the Dodgers. But I know, of course, Nick doesn't want to see the Dodgers because it's the national team winning it.
I don't care.
Yeah, Nick, you.
I mean, yeah.
Nick, you can do.
But like, there has to be something more than a $5 million fine.
Yeah.
A coach suspended for only a year, and then the team just they're playing the victim. The thing is, the fan. I don't think the fans want to see. I don't want to see this, but they at least want to see like a little like remorse, like that they're sad about the fact that they messed up. They're just like, they don't care. They won. Like the amount of careers affected, the amount of guys that like ended up getting sent down to AAA, never made it back. Mike Bolsinger from the Dodgers I don't even know if he was with the Dodgers at one time, but he had a bad outing. He got shelled. Hasn't showed up in the MLB again. And that, again, who knows if they didn't know what pitch was coming. In that one game that he got taken out after 2 innings. In that, 2 innings, there was 28 bangs on the trash can. They heard when they slowed down the audio and canceled out all the other notes. I want to hear Nick's opinion on this because I haven't heard him or his real talk about the Astros in a long time.
I mean, listen, it's not good for the game of baseball, but as a Met fan, it didn't really impact me. But for the integrity of the game, I mean, it's unacceptable. You can't be doing that. But
Nick, you tell me if the Braves did something like that.
Oh, I'd be fuming.
I'd be furious, right? I'd be furious, right? Come on, man.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think there's any apology out there that they could have given that would have satisfied anyone, right? They could have sat there on their hands and knees begging. I think the only thing that probably would have been respectful is if they personally hand back the trophy, but they weren't gonna do that, and that's whatever. No one really cares.
I don't see them doing that.
Ken Giles offered. I heard a thing Ken Giles offered up his ring for auction or something.
They could give.
So there's
there's nothing you could do. There's no apology that would have been acceptable. But it's just, it's annoying that they went on the defensive and kind of the offensive. People are calling them out, and they're getting annoyed that people are calling them out. It's you cheated, right? People are gonna give you crap. It's just gonna happen.
I hate the punishment. I mean, it's not good for the game.
It's the punishment, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was I don't want to set precedent, right? But it's one of those things where this is a situation where you should set precedents. You should be nip this in the butt now before it gets out of hand later.
Yeah, but going back to the $5 million, that's arbitration money. A scrub is making that.
Player could pay that.
It's chump change essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I guess any baseball fan should be frustrated about it because you don't know how it affects the overall standings. People in their own division should be more mad than I said when they played in the series, just because who knows what could have gone on, what team. I mean, the Mariners are in their division, right?
Mariners, A's, Angels.
Yeah, but the Mariners weren't gonna they shouldn't be mad because they weren't gonna win any games anyway, in my opinion. They were a rebuilding team, but we'll get to that in the time.
Yeah, but clarifying what I mean, it's inexplicable for the game of baseball, but personally, in my own spectrum of being a Mets fan, it didn't impact me as say the A's or even the Yankees in the playoffs. But just my opinion.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that feels like. I mean, especially for the Mets, just to see them in the NL championships, and then. Yeah. I don't know. If you have a little empathy and just put yourself in their shoes.
You got that's the thing. But to be honest, I would like to just hear an apology from the main players on the team, and that'll make me feel a little bit better about that. Especially from Correa and Altuve, I'd like to hear something. Bregman's out there making TikToks with Charlie D'Amelio, and they're not blowing up. So I mean, you win a World Series ring, you're an AL MVP candidate. Did he win one?
No.
Okay, but you're making TikToks with Charlie D'Amelio. You make millions of dollars. You show no remorse. You're living a good life. You have a nice contract. The least you could do is just say you're sorry. What are they going to do? Suspend you? You're making the money. Yeah, me personally, I just want an apology. Not as a Yankee fan, but as a baseball fan.
I feel like the owner did it the worst though. He's
100%, dude.
What was it, Crane? His name was?
What did he say?
He's it didn't impact the game in any way or something.
That's right.
In that interview, he flipped. He was saying how we're sorry we broke the rules or whatever. We didn't cheat. And then someone's he was it didn't really impact the game. And then a reporter asked you said it didn't impact the game. He's no, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right, we're back, and Murph would like to say a quick point, and we'll get this thing going again.
So one of the things I want to bring up is and there was an interview with Kurt Schilling, and if you don't know who Kurt Schilling is, he's like basically he's getting into the Hall of Fame. He's a pitcher who pitched for the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Orioles, and basically he did an interview
D-backs.
talking about the Astros scandal and the D-backs. Yep. And he basically talked about like if he had to pitch during that time period or during this whole scandal, he probably wouldn't get an out because realistically he has two pitches. He has a fastball and he has a splitter. And a splitter is never going to be a strike. It's never supposed to land in the strike zone. So imagine if the other team can decipher when he's going to throw a splitter. He'll never get an out because they just sit fastball the whole time. So basically, it further further emphasizes the point that this is a serious scandal. This impacted the game heavily, and it ruined careers for young pitchers coming up, especially those with only like two pitches.
I got a question here. So, in your guys' opinions, what's worse, a guy taking steroids or this?
This.
I'd rather face a guy on steroids. Anyone should be able to hit up any pitch if they know it's coming.
Yeah.
If they know it's coming.
Think it's an excuse. Like if you put me up there and like somebody like I got ready and like trained right, and if someone's in my ear whispering what pitch is coming, I'm gonna have a decent average. Let's be honest here. I'm gonna have a decent average if I can somehow like someone bangs like. And you, oh, that's a slide. Okay,
I got it.
Yeah, there you go. See.
But it's just like if you think about it, like the couple guys that like had their careers messed up, like who knows where they would have been today, how their families would be doing. You honestly never know. Even though it's a small sample size, it's still.
And this was coordinated. This was a whole entire team.
Yeah.
This was one guy like, oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot up horse.
So like they
horse intestines.
I read something. There's like this. There's a slow motion camera that costs like $80,000 or $30,000 to $40,000 depending on the kind that you get. Trevor Bauer brought this up in his podcast that I also listened to, but he said that they bought around this company that he bought from told him that the Astros bought around like 80 of these slow motion cameras and had them stationed around the ballpark. They even had like when he played in what's their Minute Maid? No, oh my God,
Minute Park, correct?
Yeah, Minute Maid. Like when they played there, like there was like they saw cameras in their dugout, like they were wondering what it was doing in their dugout. Like why is there a camera? And there were guys dating all the way back to like when the Indians were in the playoffs. They were like, what the hell is this? Like a few games before they started the playoffs, they had a guy tell them like, be careful, like you're gonna come into some cheaters when you get in the playoffs. So, I mean, what do you think about that, Nick and Matt? I got to hear from the Met fans.
I mean,
Nick, you can go. Yeah. Because I have a point.
I mean, it's definitely worse than steroids because, as my partner Andrew always likes to say, if you're on steroids, you still got to hit the balls. We heard in the first podcast, Everett Cabrera 237 hit it on the roids. So you got to hit the ball still. As much as I like to bash A-Royd, he hit the ball. So
he was a good player before the roids, and I would say differently if he wasn't. Like I'll admit it, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, that's just sad. Imagine doing all that to your body just to hit the 30.
Yeah, the lifelong repercussions of it. That they just tears through your muscle body kind of thing if you don't keep it up. And now, yeah.
But yeah, what was kind of running through my head is, as we're talking about all this, is you think about how easily undetected those cameras were and how low key it was at first. Do you think other teams around the league are doing similar sorts of, maybe not as significant as bad, for lack of a better term, but you think that there are small instances of cheating or just foul play here and there throughout other teams?
There are small instances of cheating, of course, throughout the game, but there are like the Astros were flagged before, like a team complained and the MLB checked it out. They said something was going to happen, never happened, so they kind of just let it walk. Like there's teams are cheating all the time. Every team's kind of cheating. It's a fine, like cheating to know what's coming or like and know it's coming without a guy on second base. In my opinion, that's cheating. Because if a guy can steal your signs from second, like, congrats. Like, that means the catcher's doing something wrong, the pitcher's doing something wrong, and they need to fix that. But if he's stealing, if they're stealing signs with no one on base, I mean, there's something going on there, first of all. But there's got to be cheating going on around the league, in my opinion. I mean, I'd rather steroids than this.
What about like minor league? You know, just think about all the baseball that's played, all the professional baseball that's played. You know, I think there has to be something.
One of my friends that plays in the minor leagues, I'm not going to say who, told me that they were cheating as low as like AA. Like, what are you going for? When you're in the minor leagues, like, when it comes playoff time, I get it. Like, you're playing for your team, but at the end of the day, you're kind of playing for yourself because you're playing. This is your job. You're playing for money.
I know.
The rank
So,
up.
like, why in the hell would you cheat that low?
Yeah.
I don't think as a player I would be able to go throughout the rest of my life knowing that, like, now I've been exposed for cheating. Like, how am I able to show myself in opposing ballparks?
I'd be a little scared as a young and up and coming player. You know?
I mean, the players are smart enough not to target the young enough players if they're gonna retaliate. Which, again, you shouldn't retaliate. I think there are teams out there that have enough chance at beating them when they get to a certain stage. There are teams in their division that can make runs this year that can kind of surprise us at the end of the day. But again, who knows what could happen this year with the Astros? But
I got another question here. So we see it with the same thing with the steroid hitters and pitchers, I guess, with Clemens. But do you guys think? I mean, some of these guys like Altuve, obviously, he's on a Hall of Fame track. Do you think he has a little issue getting in because of this, or?
I think there will be an issue. I'm a Yankee fan. I liked him before the scandal. I still have respect for him as a player.
Sure. I think it can go either way.
Yeah, it could go either way, but that like there's an asterisk next to your name now because you cheated, as it should be for every steroid user. Any guy that has had like a. Because there are guys, again, I'm going to say like Cal Ripken or Derek Jeter, like they played their career clean. There's no like real asterisks next to the name like they did this. They were suspended for this kind of thing. And again, Altuve wasn't suspended, but he was a part of that team. So like it's good. Like when you see all of his stats at the end of the day, like they're going to be respectable because he's a good player. Altuve was and always will be a good player. But like when you put him on that team, and the fact that he was the star player on that team. In my eyes, during the 2017 season, there's going to be an issue getting to the Hall of Fame. I don't know about you guys.
And no one spoke up also. So it's on him. No one like put an end to it. They're all like, oh, apparently the Beltron scaring thing. Who knows if that's true, but intimidation factor. But
one man isn't going to scare a whole team. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, to piggyback off what you said, I think Altuve, he definitely still has a chance to make the Hall of Fame. I don't doubt that. I think it just depends like how he bounces back, how he finishes off his career. If he finishes off strong and puts up similar numbers to before the scandal, I think it's going to be tough to keep him out. But it's going to be one of those things where people are thinking in the back of their heads like, is he still cheating or is this legit? And I hope he can right the wrong and continue playing baseball the right way.
I would rather them right the wrong. Like, and Nick, again, you're going to hate me for saying this, but I also watched another podcast, okay? Uninterrupted with C.T. Sabathia and Ryan Rucco. They said they're like, we wouldn't be mad at the Astros, the Yankees 2017 team, if they didn't beat us in our home ballpark. If they beat us in our home ballpark. The Yankees won every game at home. They lost every game at home at the Astros at Minute Maid. So I'm just saying, like, that's as a Yankee fan, like, you come to home to Yankee Stadium, you know, Nick, you know the crowd's insane at Yankee Stadium in playoffs. You know it. Everyone freaking knows it. But you go to Astros ballpark, and every team that's played there, not only the Yankees, said that when you entered that ballpark during the 2017 season, 2018-ish season too, that they had, and like they just had felt the fact they weren't going to win the game. I mean, just because of the fact that people knew that something was going on, and then there were issues going on between the whole organizations and stuff. But if anyone wants to piggyback off of me, I don't know.
Yeah, if you look during that postseason, right, the 2017 postseason, if you look, it wasn't even close. Like, the Yankees were blowing out the Astros at home. It wasn't even close. But as soon as you get back to Houston, the games start getting close, and they start losing those close games. And if you look,
I don't mind the close games. If we're gonna lose it's just the players felt like you go to the ballpark, you're gonna lose. And again, I get teams that you got to overcome not playing at home. Like, across all sports, teams say it's tougher to play in away stadiums, but it was just like the way that I've heard players talk about it, just going in, again, it could just be the crowd, could be the thing. Who knows if they actually cheated at the end of the day? Like,
I heard some of thoughts. Like, it just felt like a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, when your stadium's named after a low budget, subpar fruit juice.
Subpar.
Are we wrong to suspect that something fishy's going on over there?
Matt, I think we need a buzzer or a horn or something if you got that on for that.
Can we think of a more irrelevant stadium name than Minute Maid Park? Sounding off.
That was great.
I mean, I can't think, like, every other stadium name makes sense besides Minute Maid.
Like, I'm afraid to go to Minute Maid Park of the Houston Astros.
What about Petco Park, though? Come on, Petco Park is.
Petco, yeah.
The train
not intimidating name.
The train in Minute Maid, so scary.
So scary, bro. The funniest thing I find is when the Nationals beat them, but every home run that they hit in Houston, they would go on the bench and they'd start the train and they'd scream it. I found that hilarious. But again, because at that point everyone had heard of like possible cheating and stuff going on. So like some of the national players just had no filter and they would just have way too much fun. To me, that Game 7 didn't look like a Game 7 to me. They were just having way too much fun in the dugout.
I mean,
I know you want to say something. I'm just
not gonna lie. I didn't really care in the postseason. I was rooting for the Astros because I don't want to see the Nationals hoist. I mean, obviously they did, but
of course, Nick. But
no.
But now, since the Astros cheated, you still want the Astros to win?
Yeah, I'm not rooting for the Nationals.
Oof, it's a rock in a hard place.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
not really though.
You can't change.
It's really not. You literally have a team that's cheating and just another team that's playing right, and then like the underdog Cinderella story.
But it's not even like it's a Bryce Harper-led national team. It's a pitching staff-led national team.
You got to understand where I go to school. It's 2 hours from D.C., so the demographics Wiley Nationals fans. So
whatever. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. I just hate to see a team from your division win. It's just like that could have been us. You know, we beat them throughout the
season. If the Marlins win the World Series, you're gonna tell me that you're gonna be upset.
No, I'd probably move to a different country if the Marlins won the World Series.
Yeah.
I just stopped following baseball.
There's another rumor that Ken Giles is trying to sell his World Series ring.
That's crazy.
You know the price on that?
What?
You know the auction price?
Oh, it's probably a ridiculous amount because that has like a few real diamonds on it. So, I mean, he knows he did wrong. A few players have apologized. Correa's like, if you don't know the facts, don't say them at all. Like, stop. If you truly have nothing to hide, don't feel attacked or don't look attacked on media because if you're gonna cheat, also know how you're gonna handle it. Because Ryan Braun, when he was first, I'm not going to say his nickname, Nick, because, you know, it's offensive, apparently. But for our viewers, you know what it was. But, like, what was I even saying? I completely forgot my statement. Oh. Yeah.
Ryan Braun.
Oh, no, about, like, if you're going to cheat.
Apology. Yeah.
At least have an apology ready or some kind of like really good excuse. Because if you can concoct a plan this good to cheat, have an apology that's really good or a plan to
Coordinate
like
it.
get yourself out. Yeah, have it organized and ready. Because Ryan Braun, when he first came out with the steroids, he was just like, I solely believe I never took steroids in my entire body in my entire life throughout the whatever. And then like he got caught the next. Like if you're gonna don't lie straight through your face, have it ready.
A-Roy did it too.
Nick,
Like, I banged home.
exactly. Nick, exactly. I'm just saying, I don't care what team it is. I'm a Yankee fan, and I'm a baseball fan. If you're gonna tell me, if you're gonna apologize, apologize. But if you're gonna lie, if you're gonna cheat, at least have some sort of excuse to hide it, like a good excuse that no one's gonna see right through it. Don't feel attacked when you're asked a question.
I mean, yeah, you're the one that cheated, so you got to deal with the consequences.
Just admit it. I guarantee they wouldn't be getting hit as much because, again, with the hit by pitch, Nick wants to talk on that with the new league. I know that.
I mean, I'm just saying they're still going to get hit. I'm just saying if it's 82 games, it's going to be less opportunities because the umps aren't going to tolerate it, obviously. I know it's coming, so.
I could see it being like the Syndergaard being throwing at Escobar, like first pitch of the game. I could see like if they get thrown at, I could see the starter getting tossed right away. Like that's a more valid excuse than what happened to Escobar. But like again, I don't think they should be getting hit in my opinion. At least
that's kind of
the rate that they were in spring training. They had like 16 hit by pitches in the first 5-6 games.
Yeah, it was
ridiculous.
I mean, that's spring training too.
A guy got tossed for it. But again, he hit him with like a changeup on like his like ankle. Like that isn't even close. And they tossed him. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I mean, it could be way worse. Like if this was like a decade earlier in that era, they would get thrown at the head. It would be bloodbath. Like benches scrapping every night, guys getting hit in the head.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that again. I wouldn't want that to happen to my team. But again, Nick, you gotta love a brawl every now and then.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, but.
We'll drop the gloves, go at it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Mets brawl in ages. I feel like the Yankees haven't either, except the Savage in the box. I mean, that wasn't even a brawl, though.
That wasn't.
I think the last one we had was the Red Sox one with old boy Tyler Austin going at Joe Kelly at the mound.
Yeah,
that was like the last real brawl, and it wasn't even that bad of a brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, brawl.
It was like brawl.
Now brawl these days are like nothing. I mean, Amir Garrett and Puig was pretty bad, but.
Didn't we have something with the Rockies?
Not that I recall.
You guys had a little dust up with them, but it wasn't anything. Like it was like I can't remember.
Well,
I know Daniel Murphy came out. He was like, you can't do that. He was like,
go ahead.
Daniel Murphy. Wow.
The Met killer.
Yeah.
Any other closing remarks on the Astros before we wrap this thing up real quick?
I just wanted to say to the viewers, if you have any personal opinions, like leave it down in the comment section. We'd be more than willing to address it through the comment section. I feel like we hit a lot of good points, but obviously we left out some important information. So
we'll get back to you. Comment, subscribe, like,
and keep smiling.
Keep smiling. Yes, indeed. We're gonna have all the Instagram information in the comment below. I think that's about it for today. So keep smiling. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for joining us, Murph.